Okay, that's good. All right, I'll bring Tabashu then. So I'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye. Hello, how are you? I think it's very important that as people you understand that as you evolve through all of your life's experiences, that you look at the world that you've created for yourself, you look at your own personal life, you look at the collective life you're involved in, and ensure that you take the relevant steps that fit in with who you're now becoming. Because if you don't change your life, your world, your circumstances sometimes, and you get stuck in certain ideas and certain patterns and certain frequencies that frustrate you, that limit you, that puts you into a place where you feel unsettled. And it always makes sense to think that as you evolve through the learning that you're doing in your life, you've got to keep creating opportunities that allow you to practice what you're actually becoming. Otherwise, what's the point in doing what you're doing? Be that your spiritual development, be it your intellectual development, be it your relationships, whatever it is. And so, because everything is evolving, whether it's a soul in a human body or the soul of the earth itself, what happens is that you begin to project out a different frequency, a different vibration. And in the beginning, when you do that, what you end up doing is emitting, no, I'm going to put it differently, expelling out of you, purging out of you old vibrations that no longer have a relevance to yourself. And a lot of people are experiencing this at this point, hence the some of the feelings that people are having, the senses of depression, the senses of feeling uncertain, sadnesses for no reason at all, angry. It's like things that are just moving out of you as such, old memories, old ideas or patterns. As they move out of you, you're often left with a sort of a blank feeling, an emptiness. And that's where people get into this point where I don't know where I'm standing. I don't know what's going on in my life. And it's not that there isn't something that's happening, but you always have that little blank space where you just, in a way it sounds a funny way to put it, but I just stop life for a moment. Because I know that I can't sustain what I was and how I was living. And I haven't yet created what I'm going to be, what I'm going to do. So I sort of stop it for a moment. And in that moment, you become this great observer and therefore make this transition from that old frequency into the new frequency. It's very subtle, but once it's made, there's no turning back. And that's the thing I feel about the development on life on this planet. There is no turning back towards what you're moving towards now, because what's been has been. And so that's why I think it's important to not look back and to not feel that, oh, I got to work more stuff out or figure more stuff out. As I've said, when you're authentic, you get into this zone where what was, or the vibration and your relationship with the vibration of what was, becomes irrelevant, simply because it served its purpose. And so as individuals, you have to look at the relevance of what you are, as I'll put it, as God, as genuine, as authentic. And then in your own ideas about that, what's your plan? What way do you believe this is going to actually work for you at this point? But also too, what way are you going to fit that into the life that you've actually created? Which of course brings about changes that you have to make in your life. And that's where people realize, oh, I can't do that job now. I have to move beyond that. Or I'm going to stay in that job, but I have to turn the volume up on who I am. So you begin to look at your ambition of your ideas. So I think that a soul carries all of its ambition. It has all that it wants to be, basically. And so as you traverse through life and its experiences, you begin to be more aware of what your ambitions are, not just in careers, but your mind ones, your body ones, your spirit ones. And I think that living in a time in history where everything is really amplified in all its contrasts, humans have to be aware of how that affects them and therefore the changes that they actually need to make. So, it is a time of major fundamental changes in the way people are living, in the way people are believing, in the way people are thinking, in the way people are participating in the world. And it's a natural process. I always believe that the planet itself, as it goes through its own shift of consciousness, is actually, in a way, channeling new energy through it. And therefore everything that's on that planet is going to be affected by that vibration. And probably a way of looking at it would be if you look at the poles on the planet. So energy is being drawn up through into the core, spins and swirls around, goes through all the different energy lines that this planet has, moves up to the top pole of the pole, then creates this energy that goes around. So it's like the aura of the earth. And there's an acceleration of this vibration, which therefore accelerates the growth and the changes that come about. It also changes the dynamics of structurally what goes on within the planet too, because everything replenishes itself. So that's why scientists and naturalists and all this, they discover new plant species or new mineral species and things, and they say, well, how does this come about? Because there's always new ways of creating life. And if you think about it from the point of human nature, it's no different. You're always replenishing yourself, and therefore you get to a certain point in your own existence where you develop a skill or an idea or an aptitude, and you think, well, where did that come from? And so because you invented it, and you invented it through the way that you're developing in mind, in body, and spirit. And that's why if you don't do it in a time when that energy is to be used, then I believe it's a bit like stalling your development. And if it's there for the taking, as you people say. It's there to utilize, it's there to invest in. And what's the point of having developed your abilities if you're not going to invest well in what's available to you? And of course, for most humans, they get into that, yes, but how do you do it? How do you access that energy? And again, I would say, don't look for the seminar or the course or whatever. Stand still. Be in that place, as I said just before, where life stops for a moment. And in that point, you're no longer overtly influenced by attitudes and ideas. You're actually in a very clear, authentic place. And in that moment, what you do is that you project your intention. And the energy's there, I choose to harness it, I use it in the highest way possible, or words to that effect. But it's not a difficult thing to actually harness the power that's available to people, because remember, it's always going through you. It's about how you listen to your feelings, how you listen to your ideas, how you are being directed through your own insights. And so you feel it within your system. And some people feel it through here, so they'll act out certain ideas or inventions. Some people feel it in here, in their hearts, so they'll do it through their emotions and through their feelings. Some people do it through the combination of the two vibrations, and therefore, they become often quite super achievers when they get into a space like that. Some do it through their creativity. But whatever ways you choose to do it, it's there, it's not going away, it's increasing, and it's always beneficial. But the energy has to wade through the old energy. And that's where sometimes, as I'll put it, the old energy becomes like a barrier, and you get this sort of push-pull. And yet invariably, as the new energy just gets bigger, then the old energy just can't put up a fight anymore. So it just simply dissipates. So it just has no power, and then it just fades. And then the new energy just keeps moving round and round and round. And so that's why I believe it's not about any level of resistance. And it's not about complying to anything. It's not about just diving into anything, but don't resist. Don't resist your power, your light, what's available to you, the authenticity that is within all of you. And don't resist what feels natural to you. Don't resist your questions and your ideas, because those are important ways of developing at this particular important time in history.